Grabbers is a pretty decent British horror comedy. I hesitate to call it schlock because, yeah, there's some flapping about of a jellyfish, quasi octopus, alien monster things, but, you know, I don't see it as all that schlock. I think schlock requires a hell of a lot more funny faces and things. Um, yeah, but it's a pretty decent comedy. It's not a reanimator. You don't have people running around trying to hide like eyeball walker thingies or whatever that thing was from the second Reanimator, where it runs around and you're hiding it from your date. But you do have an element that's similar to that style of comedy. Now, it is a uniquely British comedy because, like, you don't if you were to do a remake of this in the US, you would obviously have, or anywhere else in the world, you would obviously have the issue of cops not using guns. Now, they do still have a flare gun, but the point is, cops in Britain don't usually carry guns, so that explains a whole lot of what's going on. Like, if you are a regular person and you see this and you don't know that British cops don't have guns, you'd be very confused. But yeah, I do think they would probably still have a few weapons in the station, but I don't know what's happening there. It's very weird. Now, starting off the story with an understanding that British cops don't usually use guns. They keep them in their police stations and they only bring them out when they're required. You kind of get what's going on here, right? Like, that's why everyone's so quick to get drunk and fight the monsters. Now, the premise of the movie, like the trailer itself, like tells you that it's all about a bunch of drunk people fighting monsters. So that's not really a big spoiler. What is shockingly confusing here is that it's rated 15 in the UK. And if you don't know, the UK has this term called video nasties tied to like decades of propaganda, where if you you have to give your movie to a ratings board by law, and you have to pay that ratings board by law, and if they give your movie a rating of 15, you as a parent are not legally allowed to show this movie to your kids. Now, if I were a parent, I'd probably show this movie to an 8-year-old. I see no reason why this movie would have a rating higher than PG-10. But it is what it is. So, with everyone talking about why the hell is Batman rated 15? That's absurd. If you watch this movie, and you hear that it's rated at 15 and you know what that means, you would probably want to smash up some British politician's face in with a chainsaw. Like, turn on the chainsaw, just smack him, smack him, smack him. Try not to, like, be careful for the recoil, because this is just retarded. Like, 15 for this movie? Are you kidding me? Is this, are you mentally unstable? Yeah, there's not really much else to say here. Like, it's a good movie. It's exactly what you would expect, and it is well executed. There are some creative choices that might irk you a little bit, like the speed with which the lady cop gets drunk, and the death of a certain character, but like, actually, yeah, just those two. Pretty much just exactly those two moments are the only thing that I think would be controversial in this movie. Like, it's a pretty straightforward, competent, like, little bit of a comedy, like, have a good time, like, Monster Fest. I think if you're a parent in the UK, you really should watch this movie and then find out where to mail a letter and complain. And get your buddies into it, like, because there is no reason why this movie should have anything more than a PG-10. It's absurd, you know? It's absurd.
That? If you're right, this will kill it.
Bottoms up? Okay.